Weekend as the city roars. Tune in loud, turn up some more. Cincinnati show, it's time to play. Sports with strawberry ice today. 5:30 sharp, don't be late. CTV, the sports awaits. Strawberry icy's on the mic, energy, it's pure delight. Every touchdown, every goal. Feel the pulse, it's in your soul. Cincinnati heartbeats strong. Strawberry ice will lead the throng. Every touchdown, every goal. Feel the pulse, it's in your soul. Cincinnati heartbeats strong. Strawberry ice will lead the throng. Feel the crowd, it's electric now. Shouting loud, they all know how. The CTV got what we crave. Sports with ice, it's waves and waves. Tigers strike and Bengals roar. Every game we want some more. Tune it in and feel the thrill. Strawberry ice, he's giving chills. 5:30 sharp, don't be late. CTV, the sports awaits. Strawberry ice, he's on the mic, energy, it's pure delight.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, the Iceman, Jeff Trunapole. And as always, I bring you sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio. And I'm coming to you live from the Ice Cave. And the Ice Cave is brought to you by Priority Lawn and Landscaping. The sun is shining. I know it's freezing ass cold out there. But here in a couple weeks, the grass will start growing. You want to get that flower bed in shape. You want to get the leaves out from the fall. You want to trim some bushes, add some bushes, put a paver patio in. Maybe just bounce some ideas off the guys of what you actually could do with your yard. Well, I have a great idea. Give Priority Lawn and Landscaping a call at 513-430-6114. That's 513-430-6114. They can take care of all your lawn and landscaping needs. You can also check them out on Facebook. All right, guys. So we're coming to you earlier than normal today because it's Valentine's Day. I got to take Mrs. Ice out tonight. Charlie Clifford's got to go take his wife out. So we got some stuff to do. So we're going to head the show a little early. But shout out to everybody who is in the chat this early morning. We got Stranger in there, Jerome's in there, Tony Blaze in, Brad's in there, and Craig. What is going on, guys? All right. So I titled this show, Pay Up or Break Up, the Bengals offseason decisions. Now, this keeps going around in my head because I'm a longtime Bengal fan. And I preface it this way. If you don't believe me, go check out Jake Lisco at Locked on Bengals. He did an exercise where he could fit everybody. Trey Hendrickson, Jamar Chase, Tee Higgins, all of them, Mike Gesicki, all of them under the Bengals salary cap without cutting anybody and with them doing their contracts how the Bengals normally do their contracts. With that being said, and then Paul Dehner has this list that I brought up every single show. If you cut all these guys, I think it's like $50-something million that you could get. And I think Jake said he'd have $22 million left plus the $50-something million. They've got the money. They've got the money. And, of course, my plug comes on my earphone. I start getting excited. They've got the money. There's no reason that the Bengals can't do this. But as a Bengals fan, you always go back to Carson Palmer quit on the Bengals because they couldn't do it. We didn't sign Mohamed Sanu. We didn't sign Jones. We didn't sign Whitworth and Zeitler. And we went downhill for that because we've seen it happen before. But this is bigger than any of those. Because we literally, in my opinion, I'm surprised. Once we drafted Joe Burrow, once we drafted Jackpot, I thought by now we'd already have a Lombardi trophy. It hasn't happened yet. If they don't get this offseason right, you can lose the fan base, like worse than they did before when they didn't sign Whitworth. People stopped going to the games. Worst of all, you can lose your team. Because let's just go back to the Patriots game. The one we always go back to that they shouldn't have lost. They lost that game because those guys didn't want to play. Those guys were still upset about Jamar not being signed, T not being signed, stuff like that. You could see it. I mean, they quickly got over it, and I think they weren't playing their best in the Chiefs game either. It took about 2 weeks to try to get over this. That's one of the reasons we got to a bad start. You don't want this lingering over this team the whole offseason rolling into this season, because we have a championship window. It's Joe Burrow's entire career. I get that. But when you have guys like this, you got to keep them all. Anyway, with that being said, I set it up. Charlie is in the waiting room. I know he's looks like he's all kind of casual today. Like, you know, I kind of like, he's usually in a suit. He's looking all chilled out and relaxed. Anyway, he is from News Channel 5 Sports. He is Charlie Clifford. What's going on, Charlie?
What's up, Ice? How are you?
Good, man. Good to see you again. How are you on this, sunny but cold freaking day today?
Yeah, I know. We're getting ready to go down to Red Spring training, so life will be good here soon.
I feel so bad for you, Charlie. I do. I feel terrible for you.
Thanks for having me on, though. You set it up there. It's going to be an interesting 4 or 5 weeks here. Yeah,
and the thing is, if the Bengals, and I don't want to hear they ain't got the money. I don't want to hear this, because they do. They have the money. They can do it. I don't care what the national media says. Enough beat writers and stuff have done the numbers. They can fit all these guys in. Plus, have plenty of money left over to improve the defense. We don't have to prove it to the Eagles level. We got to get to at least, top 15, top 17, somewhere around there. We could go to the Super Bowl or the playoffs at least. You can't have this leader over this team all year long like it did last. I mean, Tee Higgins, we've been talking about T for 2.5 years. They got to get this fixture up, because if they don't, they can lose Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow could decide he wants to leave in a couple of years. I mean, this could be really bad if they don't get this right.
Yeah, I would caution on the Burrow stuff. I mean, to me, that just seems a little excessive at this point. I know there's a ton of balls in the air here, but you have to give the team a chance to do right on this, and they're thinking about this every single day. As you said, this Tee Higgins thing, the minute they franchise tagged him last year, I think we all thought that was going to be it. 2024.
Right.
Yep. Joe Burrow's made it a priority, and from what I understand, they've made Tee Higgins a priority too. So again,
I hope so. Sounds good.
Yes, I think you have to let this play out. And the bottom line is here, as much time as we're going to spend talking about the offense this offseason, if this defense, as you said, doesn't get better, it's not going to matter.
Yep.
They had T, Jamar, Joe, and Trey for all of T missed 5 games. The rest of these guys were healthy, and they went 9-8.
Mm-hmm.
So your top, your 8 picks that you've taken in the top 3 rounds on the defensive side of the ball over the last 3 years, starting with Dax Hill, to me, that's what we need to be talking about here.
Drafting and developing.
Yeah. Which of these players are going to become quality starters? Because if they don't, and you do these other moves, you have to replenish linebacker. You have to replenish both spots in the interior of the defensive line, potentially a safety spot, another edge spot. Again, if you're going to let some of these vets go and start from scratch there, it's going to take money to do this unless you're going to be playing, 4 rookies this year. So it's a complex situation, but as you know, you have Burrow back there. You're going to have Chase.
Yeah.
That's going to get done.
Yeah, those two aren't going anywhere.
Yeah.
It's not anytime soon.
And that's a heck of a start. I mean, that's a heck of a start. You saw what Buffalo's been able to do with wide receivers that are not, people aren't clamoring for in the first round of fantasy drafts here. So there is a path. But I do understand the argument too that what you're great at, and when Higgins and Chase are on the field, it's proven to be essentially unguardable when they're passing the football. So, but I think that snowballing all these concerns into what would be the worst day in Cincinnati sports history.
Oh, God.
If Joe Burrow leaves town. I think that's just, why are we talking about that? That's.
I don't want to. I don't think that's going to happen. But it's just I don't like. I'll just put it to this. Let's just go to the here and now. If they don't re-sign Trey, or excuse me, re-sign T, which I don't think the Bengals are going to let Tee Higgins go to free agency. I don't think they're. I don't say that dumb, but I don't know how else to put it nicely. The worst case, I think, it's going to be they're going to tag and trade him. They're going to try to get something out of him, or they're going to tag him and make a play on the tag again, which I don't think would be all that great as far as the mental wealth of T going into the season. Of trying to get into play and attack. I think they're going to try to get something out. I do, and honestly, Charlie, I've said this on my show. I honestly believe that they're going to get all this done. I honestly do, because I keep putting it this way, and I've said this I think on every show this week. Joe Burrow going out on national radio and saying what he has said, where they all want to stay. He's willing to restructure the contract. They all want to do what it takes to stay together. Yeah. I don't think Burrow says that just off the top of his head. I think he's had conversations. I think Kelsey Conway reported that Duke and Joe talked at the Pro Bowl, if I'm correct. Either way, I think he's talked to somebody in the front office, because I don't think Joe's going to say that stuff unless he has some kind of concrete leg to stand on. Now, not that he can say, "Oh, I've talked to Mike Brown, and we're going to get it all done. You guys don't have to worry." He's not going to say that, but he's not going to say this stuff if he doesn't have a reason, because Joe is very calculated in what he says.
No, I agree. And if it comes down to T getting a long-term deal here, the ball is going to be in Higgins' court, because what those offers are going to look like outside of the building. So,
if he hits free agency, he's gone. We're not going to touch him.
Yeah, I guess that could be, though, if he's given Joe his word that, hey, if you can get to this number, I don't care what. Right. You can project these things out. I mean, I think within a few $1 million, what his market's going to be. So if he's already given a kind of a handshake deal behind the scenes with his quarterback, that I'll throw 10 million back into the I'll skip out on 10 million and won't go to Los Angeles, play with Justin Herbert or whatever. But just another reminder why, if you can get these things done earlier, to have all these three meeting in the same off season, it's just tricky. To me, Hendrickson's the most interesting one.
Mm-hmm. That's the one I think there's more of a chance that, I'll put it this way, I think there's more chance it might not happen, but then I also look at it this way. They've already negotiated 2 contracts with his agent. Mm-hmm. So they've got it done twice, depending on how much Trey wants to get. There's a possibility it could have, but that's the one that because he said on Pat McAfee, basically here, but I want my money. Pay me or trade me, basically.
Yeah, the fact that he opened that door. I mean, look, he's been on a team-friendly deal. That extension, he's as Duke Tobin said, he's outplayed it. So, the thought of him retaking a new deal that again is looked at team-friendly in any regard is just not going to happen with his age and where he's at. So. Mm-hmm. That going to be the first domino to fall, whether they do agree to something or they leave that meeting and Higgins' agent Harold Lewis knows that a trade is the only way forward. Something tells me that may happen first before these other things come down. But again, it's this Rubik's Cube that I don't know if anyone knows how it's gonna, which turn's gonna happen first, but
we're all waiting with bated breath. I mean, dude, it's killing me. I mean, I know it's only been a week, or not even a week, since the NFL season ended. I'm like, let's go. I want to find out. And these the Bengals don't move that fast, and I really don't want to go into the draft, and I don't want to go into training the mini camps. I'm like, just get this crap done. It would be It's so un-Bengal-like, but it would be so nice to have it done, and I could just tell everybody in the national media, shut up. They actually spent money. Well, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But you did mention the Reds are getting ready to get kicked off here. You guys are heading out to Arizona sometime soon?
We're going down tomorrow, and first workout with Terry Francona in front of the team Monday. So yeah, really Sunday night after the SNL 50th anniversary, big shebang. We'll be there in Goodyear at 11, and then Monday 5 and 6. There's just so much optimism that we've seen already, and I know we were talking about it last year too, right? Coming off the fun summer of 23, and then they kind of hit a little wall and missed out on the playoffs by a game. But Francona's already, changed every part of this organization.
Him just being there does that.
Yes. He's the most authentic guy you can imagine, and I really think that's going to change the psyche of this team. Obviously, he has track record, but there couldn't have been a better time for him to enter the picture because these guys have some games under their belt now. It's just about making a young team believe that you can contend, and he's the guy to do it, in my opinion.
And that's exactly what he did in Cleveland. I mean,
No
Boston
doubt.
was more, and he said Boston was more of a veteran team when he got there. But
Yeah.
Cleveland was a young and upcoming team, and he got them all the way to the World Series, lost to the Cubs. But I mean, with Ellie De La Cruz and Matt McLean and CES and all these guys coming up, we also have some very, very good young pitching, and with Hunter Green, and I'm a big fan of Nick Lodolo. I hope he gets his blister thing figured out.
Yeah.
You got Abbott. I mean, I'm really curious because I was hard on David Bell about how he handled the bullpen. I mean, when he first became the Reds manager, to me, he acted like every game was the 7th game of the World Series. And, I mean, our bullpen was. I know we didn't have great starting pitching, but our bullpen was burnt out by mid-May. Terry Francona is known to be a really good pitching staff guy of how to work these guys. And I'm really curious of how he's going to do this because he stated that we're going to stretch everybody out like they're starters and then bring them back to relievers. And I think that's a good way to start this thing here.
They definitely have, as of now, 6 guys for 5 spots in that rotation. As you said, Green, Lodolo, Martinez, and then Rhett Lauder. I know he's got a little elbow thing out of the gate. And then that 5th spot, Andrew Abbott, Brady Singer, the guy they got in the Jonathan India deal. So that's 6 right there.
Chase Petty, too. You can throw him in there, too.
Yeah. And with the health that this staff is, all you can go off so far is the track record, right? I mean, these guys have all, in certain cases, in different cases, struggled with injuries. So you're going to need more than 5. But I like what they quietly did in the bullpen, chipping away.
Yes.
Who knows how that's going to shake out? But they have some really quality arms. They'll have to turn some solid arms away, which is a beautiful problem to have. I think closer is a huge question mark. Alexis Diaz, his strikeout numbers were way down last year. He's not the most, control is not his strong suit. I wonder how long of a leash is that ice, like out of the gate, because they now have Taylor Rogers and Barlow, who have both closed. I don't think it's any coincidence that they went after 2 guys that have closer experience. My guess is that leash will not be as long. You can't play off the fact, he was an all-star in 23. That was he had an amazing 23 first half, and then since then it's been pretty inconsistent. So I'm not saying, obviously his stuff's completely nasty, and when it's on, it's nearly unhittable. But just curious, that's one of the big questions I have is how long is that leash going to be?
Yeah, and I'm glad that because up until probably the last 2 weeks, I was concerned about the bullpen because they added Rogers and they added these 3 other pitchers this past week, and that made me feel better because I'm kind of like, our starting pitching is pretty good. We got a lot of starting pitching, but bullpen was I wasn't so hot on it. And like I said, I want to age myself here. My favorite team of all time with the Reds was the 1990 team. I was 15. It was a long time ago. You probably weren't even alive then. But they had
wire to wire. Let's go.
they had the best bullpen ever. They had the Nasty Boys. And I don't think maybe we do. I don't know if we had that combination here in this bullpen, but that is, I've always been looking for the Reds to get that combination. You had 3 hammers in that bullpen, and this with the 3 guys you just mentioned, if they're all on, it could be kind of close. We'll see what happens, but the bullpen, the way it's going to lay out and how Terry's going to run it, it's going to be very interesting to see how Terry does that.
Agreed. No, and it's interesting because it's very Bengals like in the sense we're going to talk a ton of times, spend a ton of time talking about pitching. If this offense doesn't hit, it's not going to matter because what you watched specifically in the brutal month of May last year and into June. I mean, where's the power going to be, and how many of these guys, is Friedel, McLean, Ellie at the top of the order? Are they just going to be on-base machines? Because
I hope so.
We know they aren't going to hit the most home runs, despite playing in this park. This lineup isn't built for that. But if they can figure out the on-base question, this could be really fun. The outfield, is it still a bit of a mystery? Is this guy Hayes going to come in from Baltimore and be an everyday left fielder? Can Fraley kind of refine? He's been one of the better on-base guys they've had. Can he find a little more power? Potentially in right, and then where does Spencer Steer sit in? It sounds like he's just going to DH because his shoulder's still bugging him a little bit. That's not a great update to start spring.
No, that's not good.
And then you tell me your X factor. I'm said it all off season. Christian Encarnacion Strand, is he?
I'm with you.
Is he that power bat that can sit in the 5 spot and drive all these dudes in? He hits the all fields. When he hits the ball, it goes a mile. But Joe Burrow's talked about, he had the ligament deal with his throwing wrist. Obviously, he's as he's talked about often. It's kind of a 2-year deal before that thing is fully back. Encarnacion Strand, originally I thought, it's just a broken bone. Well, then it turned into a ligament issue.
Right.
I don't know if it's because he kept playing for those couple weeks. I mean, you'd hate to think that, but he's kind of being eased back in. Is he going to get all that power back instantaneously? I don't know. To me, that's another huge mystery up there with Diaz question of is this guy, maybe he's cleared to play, but is he going to have the pop back?
Right.
It's a question we're going to try to figure out over the next couple of days in Goodyear.
And the interesting thing, the thing that made me excited, that I think he might be further along than we think, as Terry Francona says, they're going to try him out at third base.
Yeah.
If he's not pretty freaking healthy, they're not going to try him over at third base. So that makes me think he's pretty healthy there, and I think they're pretty confident in where his wrist is. But I completely agree with you. Me and my son got in this discussion about this last week, and he's like, oh, CES stunk last year. I said, well, one, he got off to a bad start. Then he broke his wrist. I mean, what do you want from the guy? I said, before that, he had 30 home runs in between the minors and the Reds. And I honestly think he is our big thumper. And if you have him, and if Austin Hayes can get back to his all-star level, I mean, I think he was projected in GABP that he could hit 28 homers. I don't know if he'll hit that many, but I mean, if he can hit 20 to 25, CS can hit 25 to 30. Ellie can do what Ellie does. I mean, and then you get TJ Freeman getting on base and Matt McLean getting on base in front of these guys. That'd be a fun season if it all works out. Now, my buddy Joe Farsing, who's a huge baseball fan, hates the idea of having hope, or not having hope, but you hope this works out, or you hope this. I mean, but we got a lot of hope. We
have to. I mean, what's the alternative?
Right. We have.
Come on.
That's what I always say. Is you can't. We can't be the Dodgers and have guaranteed.
I know.
All-stars at every freaking position. But if this works, it could be a lot like it was in 23, where we had. I mean, Charlie, we had rookie after rookie after rookie come up, and they all just took off. I've never seen that many rookies take off and hit and play so good in my entire life as those guys did in 23. Now, that last year, this is where I'm at for this year. Last year, I was excited going into spring training. I was like, all right, we got Elliott Matt McLean's going to be there. All these guys did so good, And then the season took off, and
Yeah, they got out of spring training, right? McLean's out for the year. Friedel busts, he's not ready to go. The poor kid Arroyo, who has been mentioned in so many potential trade packages because all the other teams see the potential. The Reds kind of have short and second figured out for a while. I think what are they going to do with this Arroyo kid?
Yeah. And Marte got suspended for 50 games.
Yes. So there goes between Friedel, McLean, and Marte right there.
That's a lot.
Third of your lineup.
Right, exactly.
Day one.
Yeah.
And we know it's hard, playing in Cincy in April is not the most fun thing to do when you're hit.
It's a little cold.
Yeah.
So
figure out April. Just go 500 in April.
Right. But it's just the Bengals and the Reds have the same problem. They can't get off the good starts, Charlie. Like, I don't understand this. Like,
because they need ice. They need ice in there, before opening day. Give them the spiel.
Yeah, exactly. I don't need to. Yeah, I just need to go in there, hype him up. I don't need to warm my arm up. My arm's shot by now. But get me in there and get them up, get fired up. But I mean that's and the thing is, we talk about this with the Bengals. They gotta get up to a better start. The Reds under David Bell maybe once got out to a halfway decent start. I mean, I'll go back to the 1990 Reds. Yeah, I'll go back to the 1990 Reds. They won the first 9 games of the season. You want to be the chased, the team being chased. You don't want to be the chasee. If you can get out ahead of everybody, I don't care if the 162 games or not. Game 1 is as important as 162. It all counts. Yeah. That's where David Bell, for some reason, and I'm not a David Bell fan, David Bell, for some reason, could not get this team, no matter how hard he tried. And the talent wasn't there in a lot of cases. But the talent was. I mean, when we had the Castellanos and all those guys, that was still an up and down season, but the 2 years we had him. He can never get off to a good start. Hopefully Terry can figure that out because he's been there, done that. I mean, Terry Francona talks. They're going to listen because why wouldn't you? I mean, he's won 2 World Series and been to 3 of them, so he knows how to get there.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a more relaxed team. I think you're going to see a team that does, last year, just the late inning rallies. I think you can count them on one hand. I mean, it was just they got to the 7th and it felt like the game was over. So that's got to be objective one, right? How do I get these guys to believe in crunch time and to raise their game? Because we know how many, the parity in this league. I know we laugh about the Dodgers and whatever, but especially in the NL Central. I mean, there's who knows who's going to walk out with this thing. I'm just going on the record. I'm just going to say Milwaukee because I've trashed the Brewers for years and they just keep winning this division.
They were supposed to be down last year. They were supposed to be down last year and they freaking won.
Incredible. I mean, Pat Murphy.
That Charlie?
I don't know. They need to figure out why, as you said, everyone's chased Milwaukee. They've won 3 of the past 4 now in the division. So St. Louis, it appears there's more negative press in St. Louis than maybe any, major baseball market. They're just so fed up with, what direction are we going in? Are we going? It seems like no one can agree. The Cubs finally spent some dough, so that's cheered up people on the north side. But
can I ask you a question about the Cubs? Why is the national media so high on the Cubs? Because a lot of people are picking them to win the division. I'm like, really?
I think they just look around, and the Reds are the clear dark horse. Buster Olney's been on them. And
he's the only one that likes us.
Yeah. So if you need, I think you're sitting there and you're plotting out your little projections, and you still haven't done your dark horse, then people are defaulting to the Reds. Because
it's got to be Cincinnati. They always stink.
Yeah. Ellie and Francona. That's it.
Yeah, that's all I got. I got no else.
The Tucker move for the Cubs.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty nice, again, corner outfielder. You know what you're going to get.
I'm glad they didn't get Bregman. I was afraid they're going to sign him. Thank God he went to the Red Sox.
I'm with you. Go to the AL East. Stay away. We do not want to see you. Although I think Boston did. There's an AL East crossovers this year. I think so.
You might be right. I don't know. You might be right.
Anywho, it's. Yeah, I don't know. I grew up a Cub fan. I've told many people that many moons ago. But to me, they're always it's the preseason hype train, and then things go wrong, and
yeah,
it's
162 games. I don't know how you can predict what's going to happen. It's too many games. There's too many injuries. There's too many.
Yep.
Guys get hot. Guys have career year. I mean, baseball to me is the hardest one to project. Even if we'll just look at the Yankees. I mean, they spend money. They made it to the World Series last year, but
look at all the years. Yeah, the Rays. Rays end up winning the AL East.
And they don't spend any money.
Right. Here come the Blue Jays. And they were playing playoff games in Toronto.
Yeah.
I'm just, I'm hopeful for Reds fans out there that this fall rolls around and there's a playoff series in Cincinnati. It needs to happen. Phil Castellini told us last month, they know this is a legit window, and we'll see to what degree, they put the pedal to the metal. Obviously, getting to the playoffs this year would be a good start, because then who knows how this can snowball into, attendance is such a big thing for that ownership group, especially with the RSN cable deals. I know they're going to be on FanDuel this year, which is great, but that's very much up in the air again, starting next year. So the economics of baseball are going to be kind of tested here with, the days of the cable bundle gone. That was such a huge revenue stream for all professional sports, specifically hoops, football, and baseball. Mm-hmm. Basketball is going to be okay because their national deals are so huge that they can just split that pie up. And, I think, and with basketball's international footprint too, that'll only continue to grow with the streamers. But baseball is in a really interesting spot because, these games have to be on local, and you're just not going to be able to recoup the money that you used to get if you were the Reds or the Pirates or what have you, with all of those local cable subscriptions, where you were getting $7, $8, $9 a month per household,
right?
For years and years and years. And that was just, just sign the check. You're going to get that money in the door. And now you're not. So to me, the next 5 years for baseball is going to be fascinating.
Well, the next 2 might be really interesting because I think the collective bargaining agreement is coming up. Yeah. And I remember 94. I mean, that they lost the World Series, and it screwed the Reds because they had a first place team. Mm-hmm. And they gotta fix this somehow. I don't think there'll ever be a salary cap, but if they can up the ante on the luxury tax, or at least put a floor in, like you have to spend this much money at least across the board, I think that might help. They got to do something, Charlie, because the Dodgers are just outspending everybody. We used to think the Yankees were the ones outspending. They're just throwing money at people. They're signing people that they don't even need. That
no, I agree. It's not good for the game.
No,
it's not good for the game. And then just on the last note on the TV side, it's, ESPN, it sounds like has an opt-out in its national, package, which is the biggest package. And, it sounds like they're expected to take that. So then it's not only you have this question on the cable local side, but then you have a question on the national side. It's, I don't know. I wish I knew more.
They've done a bad job of growing the game nationally. They have. It's a regional sport. You're like, here, we're gonna love to watch the Reds. Unless you're a baseball nut like me, I'll watch other games, especially beginning of the year. And it's funny for me, like if the Reds are good, I'll watch the Reds and I'll watch a lot of different baseball games. But if the Reds stink,
I'm just out.
Then I'm just I'm like, when's football starting? When I was a kid, I'd watch any baseball game that was on. It didn't matter. And the older I get, I'm just kind of like, but my team don't have. We haven't had a shot. We haven't won a playoff game or a playoff series since 1995. I was 25.
It's time. I will give baseball credit though. The eliminating the shift, the pitch clock, 2 great things.
It works.
For the nightly quality of the product.
I don't like the ghost runner on second base though. In the extra innings, I don't like that. I still don't like that. I'm with
you there too. I thought we used to argue about that in wiffle ball back in the day. You don't want the game to end. We kind of just, this is a great game. Let's actually.
Well, we would do ghost runner when we didn't have enough. There's only 3 of us playing each other.
Right.
So I hit a double. I'm on second base, and you had to,
The
That's
ghost
so-
runner scored. The
Yeah.
ghost runner, no, it didn't.
No,
That's
bull crap! I
third.
threw him out. Like, you can't see that. But yeah, that's
Strawberry. You know everybody in town. I think we got to get like a charity wiffle ball game together. Start of the summer.
hell yeah.
Before training camp. Let's raise some money for a good cause. To me, that sounds like a great way to kill like an afternoon. Come on.
I'm down, dude. That would be awesome. Let's work on that. We could try. We
Right.
could. Oh! I got it. We could have all the sports teams. The Channel 5 versus 19 versus 12.
Great. A little home run derby.
Yeah.
Something.
Now the only problem is Fox 19. They got 4 people and everybody else only got 2.
Yeah,
So
well, they get to pick their
their top
guy,
guys,
their
their top
batting
2.
order for different event. But yeah, it's a good problem to have.
Oh, that would be awesome though, dude. I think you're onto something. We need to
All right.
figure out how to do that. Put our thinking caps on. All right, so let's roll into the Bearcats here. The last little bit here. Got a very, very important game tomorrow. Excuse me. Illinois State. To me, this is the biggest game of the season. They win this game. The Bearcats win this game. I'm not going to say they're back in this, but it goes a long ways of getting them back into it because they got off to such a terrible start in the Big 12. Where are you at on UC as of right now? I mean, I think Joe Lunardi might have them close to being the first 4 out now, which we weren't even there a couple weeks ago. What's your thoughts on the Cats?
Well, they're in the right conference, so that's for starters. I mean, you're looking at trying to get back to 7th in conference play, 8th. Big 12 is going to get a ton of teams in. Offense is playing better. Clearly, there's renewed belief when you saw that road trip a few weeks ago, BYU and Utah. It kind of just looked like, okay, it looks
They're done.
Everyone knows it's over.
Yeah.
But you're right. You beat Iowa State, which is legitimately one of the toughest places to play in college.
It's a big ask. It's good. It's a big ask.
Big ask, but they're top of the resume. If that happens, you just need some ranked wins, and unfortunately, that hasn't happened. You had the Dayton win, which was technically a ranked win, but that's long in the rearview mirror. You're right. You got to beat some of these good Big 12 teams down the stretch, and I mean, what can you trip up once, twice more? I think.
If that.
We looked at it earlier this week. 6-2 would make you 10-10, and then make some noise in the Big 12 tournament. And hey, maybe you're dancing. But you said it. Tomorrow, with the weight of a top 10 team on the road, I mean that would really get some eyeballs back on UC. Unfortunately, some of these losses being by the margin they were, that's not going to help.
They weren't even close, some of them.
Whereas last year kind of felt like, they're losing all these one possession games, right? It's always, they I think they at one point were added up. They have 5 losses by like 10 total points.
Right.
Unfortunately, some of these losses, when you look at them, you're like, they get blown out here. They lost big at home here. So.
That's bad. A lot of them are home losses. That's the bad thing. A lot of them are home losses.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, as you said, slow start doesn't do it justice. But you got to give them some credit. It looks like they've turned the corner and found some things offensively. Chisel James, continuing to ascend there, getting a little more shooting, and the rebounding's been better.
Way better than it was before. We weren't even trying to rebound before. Now we're actually trying. Now, Brad here in the comments is brought. He's going to bring me down here. He said Iowa State has only lost 2 games in 2 years at home. Well, you know what, Brad? I know you're a Bearcat fan. They're going down tomorrow.
That means they're due. That means they're due.
Yeah. I like your heads at, Charlie. That's exactly it. They're due. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, I like a couple weeks ago. I like Wes Miller. I do. I legitimately like. I think he's a good coach. I think he's a great recruiter. Up until this 3-game winning streak, I'm like, if they don't get any better, how can you bring Wes back? That's where I was at because, like you said last year, they were at least close. They were in the games.
Mm-hmm.
You know, up until this 3-game winning streak, they weren't in them. It was the worst I've seen. I'm like, and we got talent. So I don't know what West did. I think on the broadcast they said he took him the dodgeball and pizza or something like that.
Right.
I don't know if that's true or not. But whatever he did, their offense looks completely different. Because Charlie, there was absolutely no cutting to the basket, except for you get the alley-oop every once in a while. But nobody would cut to the basket and get easy layups. Nobody was posting up. There was barely any even entry pass down low, which, I mean, we don't have a lot of post-up players, but it's easy. Bandego, all of a sudden, he's becoming a post player, which, where'd that come from? And then Gisel James is making his mid-range jumpers. Day is making his shots. These guys, all of a sudden, are starting to come around. We need Lacoste to come back around and Skilling's come around. But I don't know. It's just like all of a sudden the light switch went off, and they're like, you know what? We don't start playing better. We're gonna just, this season's gonna be gone. It's gonna be a lost season. The effort is there. I would love to know what West did, but it's a turnaround that I've never seen in about 2 weeks. For, you know, just like the BYU, we went to BYU in Utah when we went out there and played and got destroyed. They came back here. I think we out-rebounded Utah by 10, 11 rebounds, something like that. It's a completely different team. I mean, it shows, I think, that Wes is a pretty good coach.
Yeah, the urgency's there. Josh Reed off the bench doing things and putting Day Thomas. Yeah, Day Thomas in the starting lineup next to James. You know, moving Skillings to the bench. It's worked so far. Those guys are tough to stay in front of. So just need more creation on the wing because unfortunately you just don't have these knockdown shooters. So I'm with you. Tomorrow's going to be really fun to keep an eye on. You know, can they get that game to halftime close? That's got to be the number one thing, right?
Yeah.
Just because of how Iowa State jumps on teams at home. I mean, that could unravel really quickly in that environment. So get it to half, you know, get it to the under 8, get it to the under 4, and then kind of do what you did against Utah and just make the plays late. You know, when they have the guys who can do it. So
and that's the thing that was just frustrating is it wasn't that I thought the team lacked talent. I think this is the most talented team Wes has had.
Yeah,
that's what was so frustrating. It's like, why are we playing like this? Why are we playing so bad?
Yeah, it was a funk. You could tell it was just as much mental as it was, you know, trying to put the ball in the hoop. It just and it was from the front court to the back court, and the bench wasn't giving you anything. I mean, it was kind of a perfect storm situation, and you know, you can't blame it on injuries because these guys were pretty much out there. I think that's probably the toughest thing for the coaching staff to do. You know, we have our guys. Why is this happening? But you know, if you're in the Big 12, if you're in the SEC, that's just kind of life right now. I mean, there really aren't any freebies.
No. And that's one thing UC fans, I think we got to learn too. Is, I mean, when we had Huggins and Mick finally got his teams going, and we're in the Conference USA, we're in the AAC.
Yeah,
we expect we won most of the time. We won. If you get in the Big 12, you're not guaranteed to win anything here.
No,
because these are top 20. Just about every team in this conference is a top 25 team or close to it. There is not a down night at all. So, as fans, it's fun for us when our teams are playing good enough to win. It's frustrating when they're not. That's like, what in the hell are they doing? It's like, good God, I can't believe how bad they're playing. But that's one thing that's fun about this, but also frustrating is because we got used to when Huggins was here. We get our 17, 18, 19 wins, and everybody, and I used to get upset like, oh, well, you guys don't play anybody. I'm like, hey, Conference USA is a good conference, all right, leave it alone. And then now we're actually in a good conference. We're going, all right, never mind. Conference USA sucked. You're right. So, when you go into the Big 12, it's a totally different thing. So, and that's the thing is these players, almost like the Big 12 itself got to them. Like, oh crap, we're playing the Big 12. We got the pressure got to them, and then, like you said, the mental thing that it just seemed like it just snowballed, and hopefully they've got it figured out, and we'll see. I went from not think we had a shot at all tomorrow to I think we got a poacher's chance. We'll see what happens. I mean, I won't be surprised if we lose, and I won't be surprised if we win. I'll be ecstatic if we win. I'll be screaming my head off. It'll be a lot of fun.
That fifth third. Shout out to the fans. I mean, they've continued to show up, and they've continued to create a good environment at home. I think that's Bearcat fans deserve some credit, because that was a brutal January, and the fact that they've still been able to sell that place out.
Yeah,
I know it's not a huge surprise, but people deserve some credit for not.
Well, it kind of is to me, because fans were booing. Fans were pissed. That's one thing.
Yeah,
Cincinnati fans, we are kind of emotional a little more than I think other fan bases are sometimes, especially if the Bengals let Tee Higgins go. Just wait till stay off Twitter, Charlie. It'll be a bloodbath, and everybody wanting to be burning their jerseys and not renewing season tickets and all that stuff. But to Bearcat Nation's credit, they still showed up, and that was surprising to me. I thought, because I went to a game a couple weeks ago, and I was kind of surprised. I can't remember who they were playing. That's how good of a game it was. They won. I don't remember who they were playing, but it was sold out. I'm like, this is pretty good. I was pleasantly surprised. And I remember going there when it was the original Shoemaker, and we'd have games, and it wasn't sold out. Those are still sold out. So
it's great arena. Great arena. Much like Cintas, we got two just perfectly built arenas for those two teams, and they can, as Xavier's proven, almost year after year, that's not a fun place to play when you're losing in the second half.
No, as a Bearcat fan, we haven't. I think was it at Xavier this year? I can't remember. Crosstown shootout.
It was that fifth third.
I don't think we've won. I don't think the Bearcats have won at Cintas yet. I still don't think we've ever won there. It's not an easy place to play. Speaking of Xavier, do you think how's their season's kind of teetering on the moment?
Yeah, they just unfortunately don't have the benefit of that Big 12. Just the Big East got 3 teams in last year.
Yeah.
So it just feels really top heavy when you look at Marquette, Creighton, UConn,
St. John's. They're up.
St. John's has now entered that top 4, right? So are they going to get a 5th team in? And can Xavier be that 5th team? Villanova beating St. John's the other night did not help.
No.
Going to Villanova and losing after he had a lead in the second half, that great win at Providence. He took care of business, but unfortunately those other 2 things are significant strike against their hopes. But they got the scoring. I mean, I think they have what they've done offensively. I mean, these guys could not only, if they get in, they can beat someone, because they can get hot, and they have shooters all over the place. So, again, they gotta find a way to chase down Nova and lock into that 5th spot, and then just hope that that's the way the at-larges fall. I mean, you probably have to make a deep run in the Big East tournament on top of it, but I see when their offense is clicking, you're like, okay, this is a really good team.
But when it's not,
they can run and they can space you out at all 5 spots. And Dalen Swain's become, he's starting to show you that, okay, this guy's, he's got an NBA measurables, and his handle is starting to look impressive. Ryan Conwell knocked down 3s. Fremantle obviously has been there forever, and he's
37 years old right now.
38 and a half. But no, again, it's just a shame both these guys just got off to slow starts, but
we'll see.
That's college basketball.
That's college basketball. They got a shot to make it. I mean, like I said, I'm a Bearcat fan, and it really doesn't hurt me to watch Xavier not make it. So I'll put it to you that way. But it's been interesting, and I mean, it's always cool to have for the city to have two teams in the tournament. For the city, it's cool. I do like that. So we'll see what happens. We got FC Cincinnati. They're starting here next week, I think, next Wednesday, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
And first game without Adanya. He like I said, I started really kind of paying attention to FC about 2 years ago when I thought we were going to win the whole thing. And just like in Cincinnati fashion, they lost before they go to the championship game. And last year we get bounced in the first round. I was surprised Luka decided he wanted to leave. And I didn't hear him say it after the last game last year that he thought this would be the last year. But it looks like FC might have been able to, I won't say replace him, but they got another MVP caliber player on their roster that's already down there in Florida with them. So hopefully it's plug and play and FC can take off. What's your thoughts with the FC and their upcoming season?
Yeah, they did a great job. Chris Albright, general manager, continues to get players that other MLS clubs just can't get. This Evander move was, essentially he plays the same spot as Lucho Acosta. He's younger. He, career trajectory wise should be ascending. He was second only behind Messi when you add up goals and assists last year.
That's pretty good.
And yeah, that's not bad.
If you got Messi, if Messi's here and you're right here, that's pretty good.
I was gonna say, that's a nice talker. But and then this Kevin Denke guy too. I mean, he had legit Premier League, interest. I think he comes over from Belgium. He was in a pro league over there. That'll be your new 1-2 punch. And then Luca Oriano, who was kind of made those crazy goals from like midfield last year on multiple occasions and really became that number 2 option. He's been upset about his contract. Hopefully they get that all sorted out. It sounds like there's a lot to that story that, he's on loan essentially, and there's some stuff there, but they're going to be a contender. I mean, the Lindner family has put the money into the roster. There's, defensively, they're going to be a lot better with Matt Miazga back. And then you have Miles Robinson, who's one of the best American players in the world. So I think much like what you've seen, it might be a bit of a slow start because these guys haven't had much time.
I don't want slow starts, Charlie.
I know. Well, hey, we're just going to keep with the theme here. But they legitimately, this would be like going through a training camp where Burrow isn't out there and maybe, Chase isn't out there. They haven't had the time to do anything, as a full unit so far. So I would expect, it'd be a little bumpy out of the gate, but Pat Noonan's one of the best in the business. That he still has full attention to that team, even though last year was tough with, basically who was supposed to be their second best player, but Penza, they literally have to kick him off the team. So that was not an easy year for Pat behind the scenes. And I thought he handled it pretty well. And, they're much like the Bengals, they're in the conversation. So
they're in there.
I know people who really care about that. That's an ownership front office that's made it very clear. Hey, we're very interested in doing this, MLS Cup thing right now, and we're gonna show you with what we're gonna do. So hopefully the Bengals do the same thing.
Brown family, Castellini family, are you listening? Do it. Well, it's funny that I say do what the Lindners did, but when Senior owned the Reds, he was not a very good, good owner. He paid for 2 guys, and that was it. But Charlie, you've been on for how long here? 53 minutes.
Hey, that flew by. I was like that. Let's go. Do it again.
It's Valentine's Day, dude. What you got? Anything special? You got everything planned out?
We got some dinner plans all lined up. Ice. Thanks for having me on, though, man. We did it all, and we'll have to do it again here soon once these questions are answered.
Yes. Hopefully they'll be answered soon because I'm kind of tired of talking about the same thing. I want some answers to the stuff I'm talking about, Charlie. We got to get this done here. We'll see. All right, Charlie. Hey, plug some stuff before I let you go, man. You got spring training coming up, you said. What do you want to plug here before I let you go?
Yeah, that'd be great. We're going to be down in Goodyear starting tomorrow through next week. And obviously the NCAA tournament stuff around the corner, but and then the combine as well. We'll see you in Indy. So
exactly.
All is good. All is good. And
wait.
Thank you again, man. This was a blast.
Hey, no problem, Charlie. Take it easy and have fun tonight and have fun in Arizona, dude. Bring some from warm weather back, all right?
Deal.
See ya. Later.
Thanks, Ice.
Yep. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Go check out Charlie. They do an awesome job there on Channel 5. I want to go to Arizona. I wish Joe Danneman's going to go to Arizona. Charlie's going to Arizona. Like, can somebody take me? I mean, I want to go. I don't understand. I need to be part of this. So anyway, but I did not get the graphic up, but I do want to put this up on the screen. Tomorrow, Neil and Alex Beecham are going to be doing their podcast, Bearcat Tip-Off tomorrow. They are going to be live at 3 o'clock. They're going to be doing a live show at the Oakley Greens. It is 3065 Vanderkar Way. So I plan on being there. The guest is Corey Blunt. You know I'm going to ask Corey to come on my podcast. I have not had him on yet, so I got to work on this thing and try to get it on. So check us out. Those guys will be there tomorrow. I'll be there checking out and having some fun. Hopefully watching the Bearcats win. That would be an awesome thing. But with that being said, I will be pulling a sign off later on tonight, putting it on the podcast. So if you guys want to listen to it in podcast form and don't want to watch the show for an hour, you're running around the car or at work or whatever, check it out. It's on BeanPod, Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google, Stitcher Play. It might be on Amazon. I don't know yet. Pretty much wherever you get your podcast. If you get on there, make sure you rate, like, and review. Leave a comment so more Cincinnati fans can find my podcast. Thanks to everybody who's been watching on ZTV Online, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Twitch. You can follow me on all of those on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscription button, so when I go live early like this, you guys will be notified. And Augie's on there. Well, damn, you're on here early. I told you guys I was going to be on early because we got Valentine's Day. So shout out to my sponsors. They are as follows: Priority Lawn and Landscaping. It is bright and sunny out there. It is really cold though, but very, very soon the grass will be growing. The leaves will be popping. You want to get that flower bed cleaned out or mulched or rocked or shrubs added, whatever you want done, paper patio put in. If you got an idea for landscaping that you just can't quite put your finger on what you want to do and you need some expert help, give Priority Lawn and Landscaping a call at 513-430-6114. 513-430-6114. Do me a favor, tell Johnny when you call him, Ice sent you. You got this from Strawberry Ice. Priority Lawn and Landscaping. You can also check them out on Facebook. Also, shout out to Marr Windows and Doors. You can check them out at www.marrcincinnati.com for all your window and door needs. I always say this, and I say the same thing, but it's true. I got them at my house. I highly recommend you get them in your house. They're energy efficient, great looking windows, easy to clean. The ice cave is nice and warm down here because I got nice new windows from Marr Windows and Doors at www.marrcincinnati.com. Also, my West Side peeps, if you're not going to go to where I'm at tomorrow, Oakley Greens, go to Hail Mary's and watch the game. It's your ticket to the game. They got big ass TV screen, food trucks. They got beer trucks, but the beers aren't there. Food trucks, free parking. It's an awesome place right in the middle of Cheviot. Again, tell them I sent you. Hail Mary's, your ticket to the game. And if you're looking for any rental properties, check out T Properties at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management need and your rental needs there. Quality housing for quality people. Guys, it's been fun. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. Go out, and I hope you guys get to go hang out with your significant other. Have a great time. Go Bearcats. God, I really hope the Bengals don't screw this up. They can't, can they? They really can't screw it. It's almost unscrewable. They got enough money. Go sign them. Go get some better players. Go win a Lombardi. I already thought we would have won one already. Go win one. You guys have a great weekend. I'll see you come Monday. That's your sports, baby. See ya!
Weekend nights, the city roars. Tune in loud, turn up some more. Cincinnati show, it's time to play. Sports with strawberry ice today. 5:30 sharp, don't be late. CTV, the sports awaits. Strawberry ice. touchdown, every goal. Feel the pulse, it's in your soul. Cincinnati heartbeats strong. Strawberry ice will lead the throng. Every touchdown, every goal. Feel the pulse, it's in your soul. Cincinnati heartbeats strong. Strawberry ice will lead the throng. Feel the crowd, it's electric now. Shouting loud, they all know how. The CTV got what we crave. Sports with ice, it's waves and waves. Tigers strike and Bengals roar. Every game we want some more. Tune it in and feel the thrill. Strawberry ice, he's giving chills. 5:30 sharp, don't be late. TTV, the sports awaits. Strawberry ice, he's on the mic, energy, it's pure delight.